But guys, I want to talk to you about Lowe's. Why I prefer small businesses over big box stores like Lowe's. I was very, very shocked that this happened. Alright guys, so it's supposed to rain all week, which is gonna suck. So I'm gonna try to do what I can today. I'm gonna try to work on the deck and some other things while we have good weather. A lot of you guys said I made a big mistake and I put the decking boards too close together and I needed to leave a gap. Well, here is why I left a gap. As you can see, they are starting to gap out now. They were extremely soaked from just the chemicals they used to treat the wood, plus it had been raining, so it was full of water. I have done a couple of decks in the past, and I know that if you already leave a gap and then it shrinks up, you're gonna have a huge gap. It's the same thing when you're putting fence panels up that are treated. If you put them all up with a gap, when they shrink, it's gonna be even a bigger gap. It's gonna be way too big. You can't do that. So with treated wood that is really, really wet, you can butt them up together and then it'll shrink and leave that gap that you want. So whenever it does get water on the deck, it'll go down through there, and that's the reason you want a little gap, is so when water gets in the deck, it has a place to go off. But I just wanted to let you guys know that that's why I did the deck that way. I know that some of you guys have built decks for a long time and you know how to do it and how to that you're supposed to put gaps and whatnot. Yes, if the boards are already dry. In my case, they were still wet, but as you can tell, they're starting to gap out, and then especially on this side, nice gaps. So whenever I was at Lowe's, I went ahead and got these construction lag screws, and what I'm going to do is they're pretty heavy duty, big headed screws, and I'm going to go ahead and attach this deck on right here even better with those. I'm going to put a bunch, and then I'm going to end up getting big lag bolts, actual big bolts, and putting them in as well, going all the way around. So but as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and put those in. So someone asked me in the comments how I liked this little DeWalt. It's a 20 volt brushless little impact driver, and someone asked me how I liked it, and I gotta be honest, it works amazing. It works very, very well, very easy to get those bolts in. As you can tell, I'm pretty sure these are 3.5 inch, and they go in like nothing. It really drives the boards together, and it's way, way better than just a normal drill. So if you don't have an impact, I highly recommend it. I have another one that is a Ryobi as well. I end up using this all the time just because I have the charger right here, and I just I have extra batteries of this kind. So that's the reason I use this one a little more than the Ryobi, but it works pretty awesome. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I drew this line. As you can tell, there's two lines right here, and it goes all the way to the corner of the house. So what I'm going to do is that's where the 2x4 that's going to run that way is going to be, and it's going to be right in the corner of the house coming out this way, and then the rest of the deck will come out this way. So I didn't go ahead and cut all the boards at one time whenever I was putting them on. I don't like to do that. All the boards, they're not all exactly the same. Let's be real. If you've bought in any lumber, sometimes they're slightly longer than 8 feet, sometimes a little shorter. So what I do is I go ahead and butt it up all over there, and then I'm going to take my circular saw and cut along that line, and then I can go ahead and do what I'm doing, and I'm going to have a good straight cut. As you guys can tell, it is thick from here all the way. So when you put our 2x4 and this, you can screw into here and screw the 2x4 into there. This board is definitely warped, but I think we could work with it. So now, as you can tell, I got this board on here, and it's nice and flush with all that. And then I'm gonna have to go back and screw all those boards in, but we're gonna screw all that in a minute. But as you can tell, there is a lip right here all the way down, so when the boards go this way, you could screw in the whole way down, all the way down. And that's why I did it the way I did it. And then, so before I do that, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna add a bunch of nails. I'm gonna take my nail gun and I'm gonna nail in between here and pop in probably 3 nails in each one on both sides. That way you got the strength of the nails and the screws. It's not gonna go anywhere, and I am not worried about this at all. And then I know a few people said that there needs to be more support in between the 8-foot sections. That's why I had the post there. And then under here, there's going to be a cinder block, and then cinder blocks all the way down the middle, and then underneath where the wall is, all that under there is going to be super good with cinder blocks. So that's kind of why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it now. And then I need to know exactly where I'm going to put the cinder blocks, and that's why I'm waiting until the deck's on and everything. And then I'm going to put them under there, then I'm going to jump on the deck, make sure it's nice and sturdy. If it's not, I'll add some here and there. It's just the way I do things, guys. It works, and I've done it before, and it holds up pretty strong. Jared's deck on his house has been there for like, I don't know, 4 years now, 3 years, something like that. No issues, so pretty good. I'm going to do the same concept on this one. So I don't know if you could tell in that time lapse, but the guard on the saw came off. I guess the vibrations and stuff made the screws come off. So I'll have to fix that because that's not a safe thing. So children, don't use a saw like that. It's dangerous. But as you guys could tell, hopefully, this wood right here is a lot more wet than that wood. That wood's been drying out and this has been stacked up. So as you could tell, it's a darker kind of gray color. And then the wood out there is more just a natural looking wood color because it's drying. And there were a few comments before too. I just want to address this. It's nothing bad, but they said that I needed to stain this wood under here because it's not treated and it's going to rot out. All of the wood on the bottom is completely treated. I do not recommend using untreated wood. It will last, but it won't last very long. So all of this is treated. All underneath the house is treated. So anything that's going to get weather on it is 100% completely treated. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to stain all this and everything as well. And it's going to be, it'll be here for a long time, I'll say that. So don't skimp out whenever you're doing decking or anything outside. It literally costs just a little bit more to get treated wood. I used to do that and get the untreated wood, and it never lasted. So go ahead and spend the extra money now so you don't have to redo it later. Alright, so I got all of this deck on right here, and it's all butted up here, so it's a pretty good line. And as you can tell, the line down here is kind of off, and I cut all the boards right in the middle. So don't get too excited whenever you're buying 8-foot boards and you start laying them out and doing stuff. Sometimes they won't add up, so they're a little bit longer and a little bit shorter sometimes, so make sure you always cut it the right length that you really need. So what I do with this is I just do roughly 4 feet. I just cut it right in the middle, lay them all out, and then I'll cut it right down the front, and it'll be perfectly straight. And the fun part now is going and putting all the screws in this deck. This is going to take a long time. I got to put 3 screws in every single board where every single board on the bottom hits. So it's not fun, but it has to be done. Alright, so I didn't do them all, but I did the whole front side, all the ends. That way it won't start to curl up or anything when it gets wet and it starts to dry and all that. The motor on this is starting to get warm and I don't want to burn it up. This thing is awesome, like I said earlier, but it can only do so much without getting too hot. And it's not a hot day, but it's a little bit warmer, so I'm not trying to beat this thing up. And plus, my back is not the best. I'm young, but I got the back of like probably a 70 or 80-year-old that worked down in the coal mines and was bent over all the time. It's pretty much how my back is. I used to skateboard and do BMX and all that, probably messed my back up doing that, and then fight with my brothers, and then he's basically living in a tent, sleeping on the ground, and sleeping on a cot is not the best thing for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a break real quick from doing these screws. I think it's good enough now if it does rain. But I want to talk to you guys about why I prefer small businesses over big box stores like Lowe's. I was very shocked that this happened. Basically, I got there and I started getting all these screws and lag bolts and all that. I was gonna try to put the top of the porch on today and get all that. And I walked in and check out this photo. There's absolutely no wood, no treated wood. It's all gone. And I was asking the guy that worked there, I said, are you planning on getting a new shipment in anytime soon? Just joking. And I thought maybe like, oh, it's in the back. They'll be like, yeah, we got to bring some out. They were like, well, actually, the shipment was supposed to come in yesterday and it didn't. We were supposed to have we were supposed to have 3 trucks come in and none of them showed up, and we called the sawmill and they said that they're a week behind, and this was a week ago. So they're already like 2 weeks behind on getting lumber. So I don't know if I'll even be able to get lumber from Lowe's again. And this is why I like to do small business, local business. The Kansas Building Supply up the street for me is because they actually had all this wood. I went the other day, I didn't get it today because they're closed on Sundays, and that's the only reason I went to Lowe's, is because they were closed, and I'm trying to get as much done before the rain as possible. But Lowe's not having anything really brought me back, so it's kind of a bummer. I was planning on I don't have the cedar post to put up, but I was planning on putting some temporary post up to get them all up and all that, and unfortunately it didn't happen. So I'm pretty bummed, and I'm very shocked that Lowe's was out of lumber. But the cool thing was, and this is where it kind of got me in the heart a little bit, I guess. I was standing in line and I told the cash register lady, I was just like, man, y'all are, I came in to get stuff for a deck, but all I could get was these screws and stuff. Y'all have any wood? She said, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I said, well, at least I got half of what I needed. And I guess the guy behind me could tell I was a little bummed by it. And he said, hey, can I do something for him? Can I use my military discount and give him 10% off? And I like looked back. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'd like to use my military discount to help you out. And it kind of just took me back because that never happens to me. I mean, never happens to me. And I was just like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's one of those things, you know, pay it forward type thing. And I said, well, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Yesterday when I went to Walmart, there was an older gentleman there, and he had flowers in his hand and some other, and cat food. It was flowers and cat food. And I was standing there. He was standing there in line in front of me with just flowers and cat food. And I said, I guarantee you that's for his wife for Mother's Day. And I thought to myself, I said, you know what? I want to buy those flowers for his wife because unfortunately I don't have a wife anymore, and I wanted to do something nice for somebody. And so I just said, I asked the older gentleman when he got it there, I said, do you mind if I put my stuff with yours and I'll pay for it? And he said, I don't have enough money to cover yours. And I said, no, I'm not asking you to pay for mine. I want to pay for yours. And he said, what? And he was like pulling out money. And I said, no, like I want to pay for yours. And I said, I'm just going to assume those flowers are for your wife. And he said, yeah, actually they are. And I said, I see you have a cat. And he said, actually we have 4 cats. And I said, that's awesome. I said, I got 6 cats. I said, that's awesome. I got 4 dogs. I said, would you please let me buy this? And he said, no, I can't do that. And the lady at the register already started ringing up and said, no, I'm ringing this up. He's going to do it for you. And I'm going to make sure that he's able to do this for you. And the old man just like couldn't grasp that I was going to cover his flowers and cat food for his wife. And it felt like such an awesome thing. And when he walked off, he was super happy and smiling. The cash register lady was like, that was awesome. You know, that's so cool of you to do that. And I left, and I was like, you know, I'm not going to go blast this all over social media or anything of that nature, because that's not why you do things. You don't do something just to blast it on the internet. And I hate when I see stuff like that, like these videos, people giving money to bums or giving new shoes to these poor kids in school. You're just humiliating them. And so that's not what I wanted to do. And the only reason I'm even talking about this right now is because I was blown away that this other guy helped me out. And it just kind of shows that if you do something with the right heart and the right mindset, sometimes it helps out. Sometimes it pays itself back. And I know that I get a lot of help from you guys and, you know, super chats, and y'all guys send me stuff and all that, but I've personally never had it happen to me in person. I've never had that, and I've helped so many people. I mean, over the years, I used to, you know, have all these crazy stories that I could tell you of helping people, and it just never happened to me in person until today. And I wish I knew the guy's name. I wish I, you know, could have thanked him more, I guess. But I mean, I thanked him there in person, but that was awesome. And in such a weird world that we're living in right now, that was such a cool feeling. So I'm glad I was able to do it for that one older gentleman, for him and his wife. And I'm glad that guy was able to do it for me. And I'm hoping that maybe you guys here in the story will go out and do something nice for somebody if you've never done it. I know a lot of you guys do this type of thing, but if you've never done something like that, I challenge you to go out there and do it, and not post about it, not, you know, say anything. I get it. Some people are going to say, Jason, you're talking about it right now. It's just different. I didn't do it when it happened. I did it. I'm saying this because of what the guy did for me today. So I'm challenging you guys to go out there and do something nice for somebody, and don't blast it all over the internet. Don't do anything like that. Just know deep down in your heart you did something nice for somebody, and man, it feels good. And if we all could do that, this world would be a better place. You don't even have to do anything with money if you don't have money. Open the door for someone. Tell them they have hey, I like that shirt you're wearing, or, hey, your hair looks really nice today. Whatever it may be, pass it forward, put a smile on someone's face. You guys know that I'm sick and tired of all the negativity stuff, and I'm part of that problem. And maybe if we all get together, we could fix this, and we can make this world a little bit better. And I'm going to make a promise to myself. I'm not going to promise you guys, but I'm going to promise to myself that I'm going to try better to be a better person. And I hope you guys can too. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and take the mini bike out for a little ride, and I'm going to show you guys kind of around the area and what I got into. So unfortunately I wasn't able to do a lot more, but let's go ahead and go for a ride. All right, guys, so I hope you had a good day. I hope you had an awesome Mother's Day if you're a mom or a grandma or even a great grandma. And even if you're a dad out there and you're kind of pulling the weight of a mom because the mom's not around, you're awesome. I think, you know, I don't think there should be a Mother's Day. I don't think there should be a Father's Day. I think every day should be that way, and I truly think that. So kids, if you're watching, please be nice to your parents. I wasn't the nicest to my parents growing up, and now I regret it, even though it was just what it was. You know, you can't change it. That's what kids do. But mom and dad, if you're watching, thanks for being awesome. Mom, I hope you had an awesome Mother's Day. And Granny, if you're watching, thank you for everything you do, because without you, none of us would be here right now. And I love you, Granny. And I hope you have an awesome day, and I hope you're feeling well. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and all that cool stuff. And I got links down in the description if you'd like to check out my family's channels. And that's pretty much all I need to talk about, because I've talked a lot. So see y'all later.